Hi, hello and welcome back to Body-Based Therapy with me, Devraj. That's more what I'm calling it these days. I think I started as Body-Based Therapy and then it became Bioenergetics with Devraj, and now, since I've incorporated a lot of Reiki and breath work and other techniques in, I'm just calling it Body-Based Therapy. Okay, today we're going to look at despair, quite a powerful negative mental state. And something very interesting about mental states, is that they tend to behave as though they have autonomy, as though they're actually kind of alive and have agency and just seek to continue, want to stay alive, just like humans do. And so typically, when we're in a state that we judge as negative and we don't want it, we have various strategies to try and push it away. Maybe just focusing on something else. Maybe you're upset about someone at work who you think is getting a promotion and you're not, or whatever it is, and it's kind of itching away in your brain, and you can feel it almost like a corrosive kind of thing, and so you try and think of something else, you try and affirm positivity, you try and do something to push that kind of mental state away, but what we invariably find is it just keeps on coming back up, rather as though the action of trying to push it away in some way empowers it to come back up. And the way through is to find something which can create some kind of integration, on a real kind of a sense of a body level. Because mental states inhabit our inner world, and so they have three characteristic elements. They will have thinking patterns associated with the mental states. There will be human emotions associated with the mental state, and there will be a feeling in the body, just a raw sensation, sense of the body associated with the mental state. And mostly what I'm doing with body-based therapy is working with the latter of those, because that's where the deepest processing happens. And so one very good way to work with negative mental states is to make them physical. Find some form of physical movement which sums up, which characterizes, which kind of embodies that mental state, and then really do it and really feel it. Before the COVID times and the lockdowns, when I was running a lot of workshops, I'd be doing like a 3-day workshop, and by the time you get well into day 2, I can sense, there's a fair bit of resistance building up, maybe amongst a few people in the group. Maybe at meal times I can hear people grumbling a little bit, there's a sense people don't really want to do the next session and continue on the journey. And with British people, how this tends to manifest is they start to complain, they start to grumble, they kind of mutter and mumble a little bit, and you can feel that resistance building up. And so what I do is, when the next session starts, is get everybody to start really physically complaining for like 10 minutes. And that means, you walk around the room and you're really gesticulating your complaints and you're raging about stuff, you're talking about stuff going on. You really put out your complaints and make them very physical. You interact with each other and you complain like crazy, and you can complain about the group, you can complain about me, you can complain about whatever you want to complain about. And after 10 minutes, you stop that and you go into the session, and people are much, much more engaged, because whilst you're just complaining and it's mostly just a mental state, there's not much energy involved in it, and you're just kind of chugging these complaining ideas around in your mind, that state will just perpetuate. When you start to make it physical, then something can really start to change, process, and move on. And so today we're going to look at a great exercise to start to move the energy of despair and start to get that kind of very negative feeling out of our system. We're going to need a cushion or a pillow or something a bit soft, and I think the easiest thing is just for me to move the camera and just demonstrate how it goes. Okay, so I'm down on my mat and I'm in my Reikian working position, which basically means I'm on my back with my knees up, pretty much vertical. The soles of my feet are on the mat, and my heels are kind of like a comfy distance from my ass, and my heels are about hip width apart as well. And normally I'd have my head looking upwards, eyes open. And what we're going to do is a combination of two postures, one with the inhale and one with the exhale. The first posture is to raise the head, keeping the shoulder blades on the mat, and bring the chin down towards the chest. If you follow my work, you'll be familiar with this movement, like this. And at the same time as you do that, we're going to do this cry breathing. And cry breathing on an inhale is when you break the inhale up into 6, 7, 8 little segments, just like a little kid that's being a bit histrionic, creating a drama, wants to protest about what's happening, like you kind of break the inhale up. It has this kind of self-pitying quality to it, because it is. I can remember, like, I'm 5 years old and my dad's put me in the back of a car and he's going to the garage. I know he's going to talk to the guy in the garage for like half an hour. I just have to sit there and I don't want to do it. And of course it's not really painful. It's not really upsetting, you know, it's not really causing me any kind of harm or injury, but I want to protest a bit. So I do my little, you know, like it's really, really bad. Like I want him to feel bad about what he's doing for me, you know. And so it's this self-pitying gesture. We're taking self-pity and we're making it physical. So the two movements together look like, and at the same time I'm doing a belly inhale, which means I'm pushing my belly out to create an inhale. So it's like, and then for the exhale, we'll leave our cushion here. And you need to select a cushion, you'll find out in a minute, which if you were to just drop your head from this position, you know, you're not going to hurt your head, you're not going to get a bad bump on your head. And so when you're in this position, you've done your inhale, your crying, breathing inhale, and your head is as far as it can go with your shoulder blades still on the mat. Instead of hurling your head back, you're simply going to let your head drop, like you just give up, control and surrender. Right. So the two movements together go like, and then this movement you need to do for some time. You need to do it for at least 10 minutes and continue feeling your body, checking that you've got your breathing moving correctly from the belly. So just to go through that part, because I've glossed over it a little bit. On the inhale, we're pushing the belly out as we do the cry breathing. And as you let your head go, you just let the air come out of there. And very importantly, really feel your body as you're doing it. Put a timer on for like minimum 10 minutes, maybe 15, and just do this posture. And then when the 10-15 minutes is up, you know, take the cushion away because you want to be flat, and just lie flat out, eyes closed, no longer paying any attention to your breathing, but remaining feeling your body. Okay, so that's an absolutely awesome way of starting to release despair from the system. This self-pitying as we come up, and then this surrender, let go. Maybe you'll feel despair or deep emotions while you're doing it, maybe not, but remain feeling the body and stuff will be processing. Like I say, you need to do it for 10-15 minutes, and you need to make sure you've got a cushion where you're not going to hurt your head in any way. It's got to be, you know, comfortable. It can't be uncomfortable doing it. Okay, cool. I hope this workout works for you. And if this work intrigues you and you'd like to get more into it, then check out my website where you can find online courses in bioenergetics and Reiki and breathwork. All good. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again soon.